the oral board interview. So you made it to this point. That's a good step, but you're nervous. You're not sure what questions they're gonna ask. You're not sure how to answer those questions. It's okay, I'm here to help. First, let's start off by saying that you probably don't wanna show up to your interview looking like I am right now. So let's fix that. So now I actually look like I want the job and I actually look professional. Would you agree? So that's where we're gonna start. How your appearance should be. You should be wearing a suit, or at least this, with a tie. You should be looking very professional and like you really want the job. That pretty much goes for any job interview, for the most part. You wanna make sure that you're well groomed, so go get a haircut if your hair is too long. Usually law enforcement policies say that your hair can't really go over your ears. That's too long at that point. You wanna get rid of facial hair. Now, I'm not getting rid of my facial hair just for this video, but if I was going for an interview today, I would shave it off. So I wouldn't have any facial hair whatsoever. I think this helps you look a little more professional, even if the department's policy allows you to have a beard. At least while you're going in there for the interview and stuff, you're cleaned up, you look nice, and like you really, really want this. Now when it comes down to what you're wearing, make sure you're not wearing outlandish colors. Don't wear bright red. Don't wear red at all. Wear subtle colors such as this, grays, blacks. Keep it simple. Avoid wearing lots of jewelry. Keep it simple with a watch, and that's basically it. You don't need to wear anything else. You don't need to bring anything extra. Don't bring any briefcases. Don't bring a binder. You're not gonna need that. Make sure your cell phone's outside. Don't need that either. You don't need that going off in the middle of your interview. That'd be pretty disrespectful. And make sure you arrive early. Nobody likes it when you're late to an interview. That kind of tells them a lot about yourself, that you may be late to other things leading forward, and they're probably going to deny you. I always say that 20 minutes early is a safe bet. So before we continue, what is the oral board really all about? Well, it's really about you. It's really about getting to know you and who you are. So it's all gonna be about selling yourself. You need to show them why you are the candidate they need to pick. So as soon as you walk into that room, there's typically 3 people in there. So these people are the deciding factor of whether you move forward in the process or not. So when you walk in there, make sure that you stand tall, be professional, shake everybody's hands, and make eye contact with each of them. You wanna continue to make eye contact as you answer questions throughout this interview. Make sure when you're shaking their hands that you are also introducing yourself. Don't have a seat until they request you to sit down. And don't swivel in the chair. They're not gonna like this. And sometimes they put these chairs there on purpose to see if you will swivel. Don't do that. It's distracting and it bothers them. Keep it still, sit up straight, have good posture, just like this. And remember, eye contact. Don't answer questions like this. Well, I started this way, this stuff. No, that's not gonna work. You wanna answer questions just like I'm talking to you right now. Very professionally, addressing each individual in the room. So let's get into the questions. Now, these might not be in any particular order, and they might not be the exact questions that they're going to ask you, but they're probably gonna be very, very similar. It seems like many agencies use these same and similar questions across the board because they're good questions to ask. So the first one might be something like this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? So here, you don't need to go into your whole life story. Kind of stick to the basics. Tell them who you are, your family, are you a dad, how many kids do you have? For instance, I grew up in the state of Florida, I grew up in this area. I was raised in a military family, or I was raised in a law enforcement family. I've been married to my wife for this long, and I now have this many children, or so forth, okay? Keep it real simple, don't go too far into it. And then they're gonna get into the big question. Why do you wanna be a police officer? And here's where you don't wanna give the typical BS answer. Oh, I wanna help people. I've always wanted to be a cop. Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed about being a cop. No, they don't wanna hear that. They already know that. You're here because you wanna be a cop. But what are the real reasons you wanna be a law enforcement officer? Be honest. You want a life of excitement, right? You don't want a desk job. You wanna be out there in the field making a difference, working as a team, protecting the community. Give them a life experience that you've had with law enforcement, or something that made you want to get into law enforcement. For example, you could have grown up in a family full of law enforcement officers, or you had a positive experience with a law enforcement officer, or you had a negative experience with a law enforcement officer and you knew a way that it could have been done better and you want to be that better. Or you're like me, for instance. I had kind of a rough upbringing, parental issues and things like that. I didn't want to go in that direction. I wanted to better myself and I wanted to rise above, and this is what I chose. You can tell them, well, I don't really have any law enforcement experience. However, when I'm out in public and I see law enforcement activity, I want to be a part of that. I'm really curious. I'm always wondering what they're doing to help out the community, and I want to be a part of that. Also, it's job security. There's always going to be a need for law enforcement. So those are just some of the examples for answering that question. Find what best suits you and answer it. They want to hear you say that, yes, I want to chase down bad guys. I want a life of excitement. That's why you got into law enforcement, isn't it? You didn't just come here just to help people, just because you wanted to be a police officer your entire life. You've never even been in the field. So be honest with them. And it's okay to joke a little bit. Don't get over the top. They may also ask you something like this. What do you think about police and teamwork? Well, I believe that the success of an agency is the combined effort of each individual, meaning that it's essential to work together. If you played team sports, then you can mention that and how you understand how teamwork helps you accomplish the ultimate goal. So make sure you write down some good answers for that one. Why do you want to work for this agency? This is a good one. And don't be surprised by this one, because if you're caught off guard on this one, it usually means you didn't do much research. But there could be numerous reasons why you want to work for that specific agency. Now, you could be applying at multiple agencies, and that's understandable. But you need to understand why you want to work at this specific agency. Do your research on that agency. Find out what kind of equipment they have, what their crime rate is, and so forth. You can also mention that they have a great pension. This shows that you're interested in the long haul and that you're dedicated to this agency. You guys have great pay. You guys have great benefits. What else? Maybe you're a local. Maybe that's your community and you want to protect your community. Maybe you just enjoy that city that you want to work for, or that county you want to work for. But make sure you tell them why. You can say something like, well, I've observed your officers out in the field and I observed your vehicles. It seems like you are always advancing forward with the best equipment for your officers, the best body cameras, and so forth. They really love to hear this kind of stuff because it shows that you're paying attention and that you did your research. If you had any kind of positive experience with that agency, that's good to share too. All right, and this question, why should we choose you over the other candidates? Now be confident, but don't be overconfident. This is really where you want to sell yourself. Write it down. Why should they choose you over everybody else? Now, good thing to note here is looking at the qualities that law enforcement officers must possess and kind of using those to your advantage here, such as, I'm great with communication. You're calm under pressure. You're very active and physically fit. You understand the importance of being active and physically fit in the law enforcement field and eating healthy. You have a strong moral character and a good sense of ethics. You have great interpersonal skills and you get along with others. And if you were, say, top of your academy class, you can throw that in there too. Anything you could think of will make you stand above the rest, use it. How about this one? What are your weaknesses? Weaknesses? Yeah, what are your weaknesses? But here, you need to make sure that they're also strengths. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're like me, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And how can this be a positive? Well, I'm gonna make sure that my work is all done right. I'm very self-critical. And another good one to use is, I lack experience. I have no law enforcement experience whatsoever. However, throughout my life, anything that I've really wanted, I've accomplished. And I'll strive as hard as possible to accomplish that goal. And right now, I really want to be a law enforcement officer. So I'm going to push myself 110%. Avoid anything like, well, I'm kind of lazy. Or, yeah, I'm not really a morning person. Those are not good weaknesses. They're weaknesses, but not good ones. So make sure you write them down, practice them. And then they might hit you with some honesty questions. Like, would you ever write your mom a ticket? And they might switch that question up and add a little bit more to it. They might say that your mom was going 80 miles an hour in a 25. Would you write your mom a ticket? The answer is always no. Really write your mom a ticket? Even if you disliked your mother, you wouldn't write her a ticket. So the answer is no. Okay. Moving on. What would you do if you caught your partner stealing? Ooh, that's a good question. Now take your time on this. You don't have to rush it. It's not a race. Think about what can you do in this situation. Or you can ask a little bit more on the question, such as, well, did he already steal the item, like leave the store and not pay for the item? Or did you just catch him pocketing the item? Because there could be different answers there. One is such as, I would confront my partner and let them know what I observed and that they should put the item back. Or if they did pass all points of sale, I'd immediately notify them that I was aware of what they were doing and that I'm going to have to notify the supervisor. And either way in that situation, I would still notify the supervisor and let them know what was going on. Because this could be a reoccurring incident. If they're doing it just now and I caught them, there's a chance that they may have been doing it already or they're going to continue to do such a crime. And we, as law enforcement officers, we're not above the law. So they want to hear that honest answer from you. All right, so the final question. Is there anything else that you would like to add? If there was something during this interview that you felt that you didn't completely answer, or maybe you answered kind of wrong and you want to correct yourself, you can go back and do that. They understand that these interviews can make you a little bit nervous and you might mess something up or you might forget to add something. So here's your chance. Go back, add it, and just say something like, yes, back on that last question in regards to, I would just like to add to that, and besides that, there's nothing further that I would like to add. I would like to thank you all for your time and allowing me to be here today, and I look forward to hearing from you. Once again, you shake their hands as you leave. And if you really don't have anything else to add, it's okay, simple. No, I have nothing further. I just want to thank you for your time, yada yada yada, you get the point. So once you're done, they'll contact you and they'll let you know if you're moving forward or if they're not interested at this time. So if you're going to be moving forward, awesome. If they're not interested at this time, then you need to kind of evaluate yourself and see where maybe you messed up. That way, when you go to your next interview, you can improve. So remember, sell yourself. Don't give BS answers. Be honest. Be confident in your answers and practice. Well guys, thanks for watching. Hope this video helps you out, and I wish you the best of luck in your law enforcement journey. If you have any further comments or questions, leave them down below in the comment section. Make sure you smash that like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.